for our listeners and for the TexAgs audience, you know, Mike Elko has paid his dues.
3, 2, and 1.
3, 2, and 1. Hey, everybody. Welcome into TexAgs Rewind. David Nuno, Nick Evangelist, Nick Savage, and Luke Evangelist. Sorry.
Talk about an alpha, pairing there. Nick Evangelist coming this summer, I'm sure, when we guest host the radio show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true.
If that's allowed.
You guys have a chance.
Cool with that.
There's a chance that happens. So the show today was stacked with headliners, with gold medalists, right? Like, Nick, tell us some of the headlines from this show.
Well, you got to lead it off with Jackie Sherrill, GOAT, right?
Goatish.
Yeah. Goated. Not goatish. Goated.
Goated, sorry. We had Charean Williams. Did you know that she's a Hall of Famer, Luke?
I did know that.
Who else did we have?
We had you on the show.
We did. Olin Buchanan was on the show as well. That's typically what we do 99% of the time. John Scheshuck was on the program. We talked to Shesh about, can I say it like that? Shesh?
Yeah.
Okay. Talked to Shesh about baseball. There's a lot to get into there. And, of course, we had a lot of love on the program. Mr. Rewind, check it.
I'll start with Gavin Grohovic.
Gavin.
Thought he was sensational, obviously. 454.
Over the weekend. Yep.
Average, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, 8 runs scored. That's a pretty good day, a pretty good weekend.
That'd be an amazing day, but yeah. Heck of a weekend, no doubt about that. He's, it's weird because when I talk about him, like I mentioned this to Bronny yesterday, you always compare him to Jace's freshman year, right? And it's not fair to compare because there's always going to be somebody who does. They both are great in their own way, right? Jace was an incredible freshman who figured it out when he got to SEC play. Gavin, it feels like, figured it out a little bit before, and he's just been so solid and so dependable.
He has, and having Jake batting behind him probably has helped.
Yeah. It absolutely, it's got to help.
Yeah, you get
Braden Montgomery after that.
Yeah, you probably get better pitches.
Jackson Appel. Like, there's some names. Let's do a pitcher, shall we?
Oh, sure. Which one you want to pick?
You pick the first one.
Okay.
You can. It doesn't matter. He's going to be on the list.
I'm going to go with Chris Cortez.
Oh, really? The co-SEC pitcher of the week?
Yes.
That guy?
I'm going to go with him, yeah.
All right, let's look at those stats there. How about that? 8 strikeouts against Vanderbilt, 7 against UTSA, 15 strikeouts on the weekend, gave up 3 hits in those 8.1 innings.
How many runs?
0.
0. That's the most impressive there. Number of all, right?
Yeah. Chris Cortez, deserving that co-pitcher of the week. Yeah. And if he continues, I'm not expecting this kind of numbers every time he goes on the mound. But if he is as dependable as we've seen this year, they've got so many options in the bullpen. Yesterday, Bronny was talking about potentially, maybe he's more comfortable there and what that could mean, especially in a long series.
Well, I'll say this. If he is able to, again, maintain control, then yes, you will see numbers like that continue because he just has such a strong arm.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Let's do another pitcher. Are you familiar with their Friday night starter? I think his name is...
The large young man?
What's his name?
You tell me.
Ryan?
I just know him as the Big Jew.
I don't think I can say that on the air.
Well, you can. He likes that.
I know, but I don't know if I can.
Wait.
It's like a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode. I don't know if I'm allowed. Charean, let's just end with spring game. What do you want to see this week? And obviously, there's not a lot of takeaways from a spring game, but there's obviously things you want to put your eyes on.
Yeah, I just think the early, they've got a long way to go, as Mike Elko said, and I know they do, and there's a lot left to learn and all of that, and they still got time. But I think you just want to see the basics, getting in and out of the huddle and getting the plays in and getting off on time and, not having the big penalties and all of that sort of stuff I think is very important. Just basically the basics. You want the basics done right. It doesn't matter how many points they score. It doesn't matter really what they do other than get the basics right. Don't have a ton of penalties and do the right things. And I think if they do that, they're off to a great start. But, yeah, we went to practice on Saturday, and we didn't stay very long. I was like, look, I've seen a million practices in my career. I don't really need to see practice. We'll stay as long as you guys want to stay. And they were – practice is boring. It's like watching grass grow. So spring game is not much better than that. It's a little bit better than that, but it's not a lot better than that. Just to go out and purely watch, basically watching a glorified practice is what it is. So I don't know that you'll see a whole ton, but just the basic things, do those things right. The coaches know what they're looking for, and as long as they see what they're looking for, they see the guys taking, doing the right things and really understanding the offense and the defense and special teams and all that. Special teams to me is big. Like, I want to see special teams. I want to see them do the right things on special teams. You know, that's a pet peeve, has been a pet peeve of mine the last couple of years. The fact that we didn't have a special teams coach, and it drove me absolutely ballistic. So really, more of the special teams probably for me more than anything else.
I'm going to read you this line right here. This is from an A&M release getting ready for this game. The Aggies have arguably, and I think for sure, the best 1-2-3 lineup punch in all of college baseball. Gavin Grohovic, Jason Lavalette, and Braden Montgomery. The trio have combined for 141 of A&M's 305 RBIs on the year.
Yeah, it's the best I've ever seen, and I've been following Aggie baseball for a long time. But when I think about MLB-type players on teams that I played on, we had Ryan Roop and Casey Fossum, and they were MLB pitchers. And then, you know, I know we've had Waka and Stripling on the same team at times. I know Naquin's been there at times. So we've had some patches of MLB-type guys, and A&M's actually had quite a few MLB-type guys. But to have 3 top-end level guys like that in a lineup is remarkable. And the fans need to recognize that too. I mean, that is an unbelievable treat to get to watch them do that on a daily basis. So enjoy that. That's not going to be around forever. Matter of fact, Montgomery will be on this year. So enjoy these 3 at the top of the lineup because it is special, and that they're very good, and they're leading this team as they've done all season.
Impressive with Montgomery is how well he fits, right? Because that is you know, you could be really good, but the fit, you see the fit with a lot of these guys. Hayden Schott as well. A lot of these guys who are just brand new to the team, brand new, they're midseason. You get my point. Yeah. But it feels like they've been here for a few years.
It does. And, you know, there's a lot of work that goes from basically September 1st until today. So there is a lot of time for bonding that the average fan doesn't see. But I agree with your assessment from what I can see. They are a great fit for this program and this university. And to me, that's attributed to their parents and how they were reared and, you know, all those things that make a human being. But yeah, they've come right in and done a great job. I mean, shoot, this team's full of transfers from Ted Burton to the guys you just mentioned. So it's full of transfers, and that's where we are in today's college sports. And for Coach Schloss to be able to meld all that together and for those guys to fit in the way they have has been impressive and a lot of fun to watch.
Well, I want to follow that up with how difficult it is to set your standard, your culture. Coach Elko's doing it right now with the team, and just talk about those transitional years, those first few years, putting the pieces together for you to have that sustained success.
Well, first of all, you know, for our listeners and for the TexAgs audience, you know, Mike Elko has paid his dues. And that's the first thing that when I read his resume, that stood out. You know, he played at Penn, coached at Penn, but I think his first 7 or 8 coaching jobs were at very small universities. And I'm talking about he'd never had a 4 or 5 star and barely had a 3 star. But he had to evaluate harder, he had to recruit harder, and he had to develop players. So he spent the first half of his career learning how to evaluate, recruit, and to develop players. And that was the first thing that you know, I really stood out to me on his resume. But then I sent him a text when he did sign some players that were 3 stars. You know, thank you for signing players instead of signing stars. Everybody is caught up in the stars, you know, and not only the coaches, but the fans. And, you know, it's more important to a lot of coaches to win the recruiting war than it is to win the conference championship or compete for a national championship. And I've always admired the coaches that, you know, could evaluate talent. In the state of Texas, we have a disadvantage. The disadvantage is because the kids start playing at such a young age, and they are sometimes developed as far as they will progress by the time they're a sophomore or junior in high school. And you get a lot of players that come in, and they are the same as they came in 4 years later.
Nick, you tell the people today what to do.
Like, comment, subscribe on TexAgs.com. Follow us on Twitter,
comment,
Instagram.
You said it like a robot.
You sound like my brother trying to bully me. Let's not do that. How about that? You just said there are a lot of love on the program. Then you come at me and you're mean.
I wasn't mean. I was mimicking.
Shut up,
What did
Luke.
he do to you?
Was that mean,
up.
Luke?
No.
Luke's trying to make it not appropriate.
What did he say? I didn't hear. Don't say it.
Just ignore him.
Just do me a favor. Do what they said. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll see you next time.